teaches them supremacy. Do you think you're scary? Am I scared? Why are you trying to intimidate everybody? Why are you trying to intimidate everybody? Let's just get threats on camera.
I never leave my weapon.
I
would wait outside the park and deal with you. You want to make the news?
There we go. Thank you very much. Now, Uncle, I'd like to debate you on something. I'd like to debate you, Uncle. No. I'd like to debate you, Uncle. I'd like to debate you, Uncle. So, Uncle, according to your religion, there are 6 advocates and 6 intercessors. And I want to talk about the Quran. No, you believe that the Quran intercedes for you, do you not? Do you not? Uncle, excuse me, Uncle, I want to ask you. Uncle, no, I want to talk to you. I'll come to him. I will come to him. But I want to talk to you first. I want to talk to you about you believe that on the day of judgment there'll be 6 intercessors.
Can you read this one?
I'll bring up the Quran.
Right. No. I want to talk to you. No, because you interrupt me constantly. You did it last week. You did it this week. So I would like to talk to you, Uncle.
Like a puppy.
Uncle.
Because you describe it as running
Uncle.
away.
Wait, are you running, Uncle?
Can you read this one?
Uncle, you were so confident to interrupt me before. So, I'll come to you. I'll come to you.
You don't have to speak.
I'll come to you. Why are you pushing? Why are you pushing? Why are you pushing? Why are you pushing? He interrupts me, I can talk to him. This is a
No,
part.
he's walking. Don't have to speak to you.
He stood right there. He stood right there. He's not walking away. He's just corrected you.
He's walking away.
He's literally just
He's
said you're
walking
wrong.
away.
He's
He's walking
literally
away.
just told you you're wrong. Are you walking away? Are you walking away? Are you walking away? So you interrupt me, but you can't debate. Calm down. Calm down. Keep calm, Bloodfire. Keep calm. Keep calm. Why are you trying to intimidate? 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 You're not scary.
Why you just doing
You're not scary.
He's walking away from you.
He was big enough to walk away from you. He was big enough to interrupt me.
Why are you trying to
He stood right there. He's walking. There we go. He stood right there. He stood right there. He's not walking away. You're factually wrong. He's actually stood there. He stood there. Why do you come to the park trying to intimidate everybody?
You see, the other white Muslim guy, you target him.
He was shouting at me.
He's a new guy here.
Now notice the double standards that the Muslim lives by. He believes that the Muslim uncle can do whatever he wants. He can interrupt and he can shout continuously. But if I challenge the uncle, suddenly, of course he can.
His finger in his
Of
ears.
course he can. But he's not walking away. He stood right there. He stood right there.
If you were following me,
He stood right there. I know. You want to be a thug. You want to be a brave lion of Islam. Brother, your religion has denigrated your humanity.
He said, I don't want to speak to you.
Denigrated your humanity. Look at you. I'm talking to you now. I'm talking to you now. Only as dumb as you, brother. Only as dumb as you. Only as dumb as you. He's literally stood there. He's literally stood there. Is he walking away or is he stood there? He's literally stood there. Salafist thugs who believe that they can dominate because their religion teaches them supremacy. Do you think you're scary? Am I scared? Why are you trying to intimidate everybody? Why are you trying to intimidate everybody? Let's just get threats on camera.
I never leave my weapon.
I would wait outside the park and deal with you.
You want to make the news?
There we go.
Next.
What are you doing? Are you threatening to kill him? Are you threatening to kill him? What was that? Do you want to make the news? What have you got in your bag? Why did you reach for your bag? Have you got a knife in your bag? Have you got a knife in your bag? Answer the question. Have you got a knife in your bag? Have you got a knife in your bag? Why are you reaching for your bag? What have you got in 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 your bag? This man should be searched. I believe he's carrying a knife.
What do you want?
Why are you trying to intimidate people? Why are you trying to intimidate people? Bloodfire, calm down. Bloodfire, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. It's all right. Okay. Leave it, man.
Peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace.
If you go around there, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for you.
Dude, chill. Yeah? It's fine.
I'm sorry, fam.
No.
I'm sorry, fam.
No, I appreciate your back.
No, I know.
I appreciate
I'm
your
sorry
back.
for overreacting. That was my bad.
Yeah, we got to be in control.
I know.
Yeah?
I know, we got to be better.
There's
I
fewer,
shouldn't have done
there's
that.
fewer of us.
No, I know.
There's fewer of us.
Let's spin in the story, look.
Yeah. Officers, we think his bag should be searched. He threatened this guy and said, "Do you want to make the news?" And then he reached for his bag. What is in his bag, officer? I suspect this man may have a knife. Please check his bag. I believe he might have a knife in his bag. He said he never leaves his weapon at home. We have it on camera. You literally threatened to say, "Do you want to make the news?" And then I saw your hand move to your bag. What have you got in your bag?
He's a bullshitter.
Are you going to be double standing listening
What has he got in his bag?
What has he got in his bag?
What has he got in his bag?
I want to stop. I want to
You're going to threaten people with knife?
He attacked me. That's coward. You're a liar. We got on camera.
We got it on camera. You were threatening Bloodfire, and you were saying, "Do you want to make the news?" And then I saw you reach for your bag, and you said, "I never leave it at home." What is it you don't leave at home? What is it you don't leave at home?
Show the police what's in your bag. Yeah? It's in your brain.
He was walking around and he was intimidating me.
And this is what we see all the time. Yeah, the Muslims will spin any lie. We've got it all on camera. Why did you reach for your bag? What is in your bag?
What is in your bag, bro?
Bobby,
What is in your bag?
look how proud of
I'm gonna make
himself.
that news, am I?
Look how proud he is. This is how Jesus speaks. This is how Jesus. Yeah, look
Yeah,
how
of course.
proud Bob
Of course.
is.
Yeah,
Now
of
he's
course.
made
Was you even there, you coward? Was you even there when he
Look
first shot me?
how Bob's so proud of himself.
Why not?
That's
The thing about Dust is just he's got emotional problems. He's triggered.
by his own ego.
Don't let him wind you up.
His own
It's just noise. It's just noise.
And he's your little ringleader. Bob's your little ringleader. Why is Bob a ringleader? He's got a loud voice.
Would you have condemned him if he's got a knife?
You have come here to make sure that people get hurt. That's why
Would you
come here.
condemn him
and then you
if he had
get
a
in
knife?
their face,
Dust.
and then you get in their face.
Would you condemn him
to
if he has a
make
knife?
sure that people react
Dust.
in a
Would you
violent
condemn him
and
if he has a
aggressive
knife?
way. That's what you do.
Dust,
come
would you
here
condemn him if he had a
and
knife?
you target people that
Dust,
are
would you
vulnerable.
condemn him if he had a knife?
That's what you do. That's your idea of
Dust,
Christianity.
would you condemn him if he had a knife?
That are
Would you condemn him if
in
he had a
your
knife?
idea. Bob, I'm not going to be moralised by you.
There you
You're
go.
Just as,
There you go.
Just as
There you go.
horrible
So,
as that person.
You are just jealous.
And you find people to make sure that are vulnerable.
Do you want me?
And that follow.
yeah, of course.
You find people, and that's what Bill
No,
does.
no, no, no.
He finds people that are vulnerable. That's his life.
You absolute liar.
Is that how you feel a man, is it? Is that how you feel? Is that how you feel a man? By telling people to walk on? Yeah, it makes you a man. No. You have to do a lot better than that to be a man.
You are such a... No. He is. Come here, week in, week out. Chat your left dick not to me. You are such a hypocrite.
It's not worth engaging. That's just a man who's He's not talking about him.
Are you talking to Bob?
Bob is just going sick in the middle. Why are you talking to Bob?
How many people did he beat in the park? How many? How many people did he beat in the park? How many? Tell the truth. I can show you the video. How many people did he beat in the park? How many people did he beat at the park? How many?
If a man who's that
Talk now. Talk. Why you are coward? Why you shy?
Hey, who got stabbed 2 months ago? Get out of the park.
Because they are a coward.
Get out of the park. Yeah, we got it on camera.
Making Bob feel great. You're getting Bob.
No, wait.
He wins.
you lose.
So we shall leave him to fall and post it.
No, you should just guide him away.
No.
You guide him away.
If I was stopping, you would stop for that.
Bob is here to cause trouble.
I'm asking you.
And he
Such an instigator, bro. Go away, Dust. Take your back.
you can't handle
He's not aggressive. I arrested him, give me that point. He's like to complain to the police about arrest. They should put him in cuffs right now. You should be in cuffs right now.
Arrest him.
I know this stuff. I work for the law. You should be cuffed right now.
You should leave the park.
He's an elderly man.
You disrupted the peace.
My record speaking to you. You just arrest him, bring the point. That was the point. If I was a police officer, I would have put him cuffed right now. I would have put him cuffed right now. Different subject here. You're arresting an elderly man. Deal with it. That's why I step in. You don't arrest no elderly people right now. I will do it again for the police. I defend the elderly people wherever I go. I defend the weak, the sick and the poor wherever I go. No shame.
You think you're a chivalrous knight, but you're really not.
Elderly man. Anyway. Don't walk away from me.
Do you still need me?
You want to die just a
Okay. So what we've got is Salafi Thug once again. Well, Salafi Thug once again. Salafi Thug once again comes to the park acting like Islam owns the park and that everyone who's not a Muslim is a second-class citizen and dhimmis. And once again, we see how Muslims will try to spin every story to get one of their own in the park out of trouble. Yeah? Now, the fact is that the uncle that I challenged to a debate has interrupted me for 2 weeks in a row. And we have it on camera. 2 weeks. But then when I want to challenge him to a debate, he runs. He runs. He runs because he's just a heckler. And he's entitled to heckle. That's totally fine. But I'm entitled to challenge him to a debate. That is also totally fine. And the idea that he walked away when he was literally stood less than a meter away from me is ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. And this is why we need a muscular Christianity. This is why we need to stand up to Islamization. Because that is what Islamization looks like. That is what the Islamists look like. And they will, what you see here in the park, week in, week out, if they dominate our society, will be replicated on the streets of every city and town in England. And in France, and in Germany. And that is why, because of people like them, we must stand up to the Islamists, stand up to Islamization, and find our balls and our courage again. Because the state is weak. The state has an ideology that cannot see the problem, that refuses to see the problem. But we Christians have 1,400 years of history that tells us what dhimmitude looks like, what Islamic supremacism looks like. I'll tell you what it looks like. Desecration of churches. The making it illegal to convert people. Illegal to celebrate our festivals in public. I will debate you. Hold your horses. I will debate you. Hold your horses. We Christians need to rediscover a muscular Christianity. Now, please note, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to see if he's going to have his bag searched. Because by the time that he has had his bag searched, he could have taken it out and handed it to someone by now. Like, he's got to have his bag searched. He reached for his bag when he was threatening blood fire. Christians, we must discover a muscular Christianity to stand up to Islam. Not that civic, weak religion that you see in the Church of England. Not the social clubs that you see in Pentecostal churches. Not that kind of empty, vacuous spirituality that comes from ritualistic Christianity. We must have a faith that is rooted in the fact that we are a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a people set apart, brothers and sisters in one body. And that one body must stand together like Bloodfire, back me up. We must stand together whenever the Islamists, the thugs, raise their heads. Why? Because the state will not act. The state is not acting. Have the West helped the Nigerian Christians? Have they helped the Pakistani Christians? Have they helped the Sudanese Christians? Have they helped the Christians in Burma? Who should help them? We should help them. Every one of us must stand together as one body, one brotherhood, one people against the Islamists and their ideology. And why should we stand against them? Why? Because Sharia law will result in the denigration of one human being against another. It will say that a Muslim is better than a Christian and will institute that in law. They will say that a Muslim is better than a Jew and they will institute that in law. They will say that a Muslim is better than an atheist and they will institute that in law. Do you agree with that? In making laws that Muslims are better than atheists in law. Do you agree with that? What do you mean? Okay, he's not going to answer. They will say that a free man is better than a slave because only Islam enshrines slavery today. They will say that a man is better than a woman even when they are Muslims, and they will institute that in law. By contrast, Christian law begins with the premise that all men are made equal, that their dignity comes from the fact that they are created by God, and that from that dignity, apart from any other factor, including religion, they should be treated the same in law. This was the discovery of nonconformist Christians in England. This was the advocation of nonconformist Christians in Western Europe, and it is because of them that we have equality under the law. If we lose our Christian heritage, we lose the narrative that guarantees and upholds the idea of equality in law. And indeed, we have already started to do so, because the progressive ideology says that some victims are more important than other victims. And at the top of the victim tree is the transgender. We have already begun to lose equality in law. And that is why we must fight for our Christian heritage, fight for our Christian identity, fight that for Christianity to be expressed politically, economically, legally, socially, culturally, in our own lives and in our society around us. Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Okay.
You got a question, Bob?
Yeah.
I was asking what you say is a good thing. What is causing it most of the time from experience is confusion.
Yes.
What you're talking about exactly, because people don't give you the choice to decide your faith. They don't even have the logic behind it. They're always emotional rather than based on logic.
Yep.
Where they're telling you something where it made hell of a sense. After all, they're not telling the real thing.
Well, the thing is, the narrative that you follow is the one that controls you. The story that you tell yourself is the one that will govern how you live and govern how your society lives. If we allow our society to be governed by a non-Christian ideology, like the progressive wokeism, or communist atheism, or Islam,
we will lose the idea that we are all made in the image of God, and therefore we are all equal in dignity. And that is why we must hold on to that Christian idea, because it is the source from which we gain the idea of equality under the law. You had a question.
Yes, sir. Can I ask you, why do you think Sharia law is not compatible with the human rights?
Okay, so the question is, why is Sharia law not compatible with the idea of human rights? The answer to that is simple. Human rights assumes that every human being is the same, that they are equal under the law. Islam does not share that assumption. It states that Muslim men are better than Muslim women, that Muslims are better than Christians and Jews, that Muslims are better than pagans, that free men are better than slaves. And it enshrines this understanding in law, in inheritance laws, in the laws about compensation, in the laws about political office. And that is why human rights in Islam are not compatible, and it is why, as Christians, we must stand up for a Christian narrative. Any other questions?
Explanation. I like that one because you said we're not the same. No wonder I feel like it's confusion. Nobody is the same.
We are all the same. Any other questions, or shall I finish there?
Do you think that the state is using Islam as a tool to keep people under control?
The question is, do I believe that Islam is used by the state to keep people under control? No, I do not. This is a kind of conspiracy logic that is the same kind of conspiracy that says that men didn't go to the moon. The reason why we see the injustices in our society today in terms of its treatment of Muslims vis-a-vis non-Muslims is because the state has an ideological blind spot that says that it cannot associate any problem with originating from Islamic ideology, and it conflates race and religion. And so it doesn't want to tackle the injustices of Christophobia and anti-Semitism and homophobia that is coming from the Islamic community in British society, because it is scared of being accused of being racist. Furthermore, the political elites, I'll come to you. The political elites are cowards. They are scared of the conflict that will emerge if they tackle Islam in this country. And I'll prove it to you. Because the British government condemns China and condemns Burma because it suits their political ideology to do so in their treatment of Muslims. The same governments do not condemn China and Burma for their treatment of Christian minorities. Furthermore, the British government does not condemn France, that at this very moment in time is tackling widespread Islamization, Islamist bigotry and Islamist supremacism. And why doesn't it do so? Because it is scared of creating a backlash in the UK. It's the same reason that the British media covered up a terrorist attack that happened in this park, where Hatun Tash, a Christian in this park, was stabbed by a suspected Muslim. And why? Because she is a critic of Islam. And the media and the state buried it. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Any other?
When you propose muscular Christianity, are you effectively saying we need to fight fire with fire?
That's a question from Phila.
I am saying that Christians need to be able and willing to bring the fight back against the enemies of the church in whatever way those enemies bring that fight to us.
Can Islam be internationally religious like human rights universal?
I'm sorry?
Human rights are universal. Can Islamic be international religions?
Forgive me, I don't understand the question.
So, human rights is universal.
Yeah.
And then the second part
Can
is,
Islam be international?
can Islam be internationally?
Can Islam be implied internationally? Yes, of course. But would it lead to the denigration of humanity? Yes, it would. It would create tiers of human beings. Men above women. Free men above slaves. Muslims above everybody else. These are tiers of humanity that are instituted in Islamic law. Christianity, the church, has learned, because of how we persecuted one another, to treat people equally under the law, because they are made with equal dignity. That is why Christianity abolished slave trades, not Islam. That is why Christianity has elevated the plight of the poor, not Islam. That is why Christianity has treated men and women with equality far ahead of every other civilization of earth, not Islam. In every measure, Christianity is better than Islam. And that is why we should commit ourselves to Christianity over Islam. Culturally, politically, socially and religiously. You have two examples to follow. A slave trading pedophile murderer or Jesus Christ. The choice is yours.
There's a third option.
Any other questions? Right, I'm gonna move away. I'm gonna talk about something else. Yeah. Okay.